All right, we're going to talk about you are the expert and act like it. Go on. Okay, so what does that mean? The first one is all the info is online. How do I separate myself from all the Googling that happens today, right? So one topic that came up is like, how do we constantly sell ourselves, which we'll get to, but I want to know like, okay, well, basically, have you written out? So one thing I would do is write out exactly how you believe you separate yourself to the public. What are 5 or 10 things that you do differently or that you do that you would say gives you an edge over other agents or just in general makes you the expert when they either reach out to you from Google or Zillow or wherever other source that you're getting their info from, right? But one thing you can do is, that I would suggest doing, right, is why don't you basically say, why don't you Google what it is to be a successful realtor is. And then all these different articles that are very surfacey, they're going to give you all these different ways of how to look at it, how to look at what it looks like to be an agent. Basically, I would take those and say, oh, I do this, I don't do this, and then say, well, actually, I do this on top of that, right? Because what happens is they're going to Google information all the time, but you should know something even further than what they already can find online. So as an example, right, what is an inspection, let's say, or there's an issue with an inspection. There's got to be something that you know proprietary from your just dealings and deals that you could not have known otherwise from just Googling it, right? We're entering an age where niche and expertise to the highest level truly matters, okay? Because if you can't get niche-y and have that expertise, even in residential real estate, what does that mean? That doesn't mean going for like condos and multifamilies and single families. You should know generally residential real estate in general, but what I'm really talking about is, okay, how am I different than Google, right? What can I not find out that I would know, right? As an example, we're doing a deal right now, like how much things cost realistically on knob and tube wiring if it comes up, or things like, well, when you negotiate, if you bring in too low of an offer, sometimes you might piss off the seller, but every situation is different. It would be hard for them to find. You would have to keep digging to find this information, or you might go on YouTube, but there's not much information there too, because there's so many videos on where to pick. So it's like, how do you concise that time down, right? And then the next question is, when do you ask yourself why I'm needed? Do you ever ask yourself and sit there, why am I here? Why am I a realtor? What is being a realtor really? How can technology, so one thing I would write down is, how can technology replace me? And the answer to that question is, it should be really, really hard to replace you. And if it's not, and you're like, well, I really don't have a good answer to that question, then you need to figure out an answer if you want to stay in this business for a long period of time. So that is one thing that I would definitely say. And yes, that sound is very true to this question, just because it's an alerting like question you should be asking yourself. So with that being the case, just keep it in the back of your mind and keep writing out reasons on why you are that you had the advantage, right? And one thing you guys hear me say when I make my calls or I'm talking to a seller potentially is always going to be time. I talk about time a lot, right? Because at the end of the day, what are we selling to our clients? Why are they using us when they can't use Google or do something otherwise? It's to save time. That's why technology, that's why Google, that's why all these software for services and Amazons are worth so much money, is because they save everyone time. Other than that, time is the most valuable asset. So as an agent, that's what we sell. We sell time. Okay, and the convenience of saying, okay, you're the expert, just tell me what I need to know to make a good decision. To me, that's what it always boils down to. And so if you don't know what to say, if you're not confident in what you're doing, right? You're just started out, Aggie, you've come a long way, right? As an example with like where you've been so far, but what happened in the beginning? It took you a lot of time to figure the business out, and now you've gotten better. So now you're selling that time back to the marketplace, and now you're getting rewarded for it. So always ask yourself, why am I needed right now in this market in 2022? And will I be needed in 5 years from now? And when you actually sit down and actually ask yourself this question, you write out the answers why, you'd be surprised of that there will always be agents. We will never go away. I've thought about this. It's just never going to happen. There will always be an agent no matter what. There won't be a technology that will replace us. The only people that will be replaced will be part-timers. Okay? Part-timers, that's a thing of the past. You can't be part-time anymore. You're done. You're finished in that process. And then the other one would just be, if you're not 100% involved. All of you you guys are all full-time agents, and that's what I recommend to anybody. That's why no one here is working part-time. It's not going to make sense. You're never going to make a good amount of money, and your reputation will get hurt for sure, because everyone wants this. When they have access to everything online, they want expertise, and they want you to be the expert. Okay? Yeah, and then I already pretty much answered this question about what should I know that the public couldn't get from Google? I mean, you have to really answer that. But going back to acting like it, right, I want to talk about that really quick. This is a lot to do with having confidence, because we talk about confidence a lot here. And there's a reason for that. Because when I say act like it, I just mean your confidence level. And you get that with experience, right? You get that with experience. You get that with, more transactions that you do, just more things that can happen. Even to this day, I've done over 500 deals in my career at this point, and I'm still learning stuff that I never thought would be possible that you can actually see. Now, a lot of it's maybe not new, but it's like in a different way, right? Just how like market cycles change and everything else. But that's how you build your confidence is knowing what to say. Practicing what to say. And what this is really at the end of the day is muscle memory. If you want to continue to be an expert, this is part of sales in general, having confidence, that's what people buy, but you get the knowledge by the experience and the more transactions, but this is what you can be practicing on every single day when you're just starting out and you're in the beginning stages. Practicing what to say, knowing what to say, getting the muscle memory in check, because there are standard responses that they just don't know that you wouldn't know how to answer otherwise, that they could just continue to go because they have a lot of information. So, if you're not an expert, it's going to be very hard for you to make a lot of money in this business. That's, again, assuming you want to do over $100,000 a year. If you're okay doing $40,000 to $50,000 a year, probably you don't have to get so ingrained into this. But at some level, you're going to have a lot of knowledge about the process, which you'll get over time. But then also your confidence then gets built up, and then you can see what happens. Like even with me, you had this like snowball effect. All of a sudden, you keep doing more deals, keep doing more business. All of a sudden, it used to go from like 100 contacts I would get a listing appointment to where I'm down to like 25, maybe 15. And that happened over time. And so now I can call in a given day. I can pick up a listing today if I really wanted to. But it's just what we've all worked for. So be an expert and act like it.